Welcome to the Owatonna Today Show, your community connection since 1991. I'm Linda Karnauskas, and I want to thank you for joining us on this Wednesday, January 11th. Well, we have an informative and fun show for you today. We're going to be on location for the entire program. We will be at the Steele County Courthouse, and we're going to be interviewing the Owatonna High School mock trial team, and we're going to learn all about the coaches and the students and how they perform for the mock trial competition. Owatonna Today welcomes your suggestions on show topics and guests. You can do so by emailing us at owatonnatoday@charter.net or by contacting our show's producer, Leanne Alt, at 390-5751. Please give Leanne a call. She'd love to hear from you. Meanwhile, we will take a quick break to hear a word from our sponsors, and then we'll see you down at the Steele County Courthouse with the mock trial team. So please stay with us.
Hi, I'm Dr. Beth Giltvet.
And I'm Dr. Nick Vincelli of Horizon Eye Care.
We want you to see what you love and love how you see. We're proud sponsors of the Owatonna Today Show.
I needed more than just another dead-end job. I wanted a career, so I expressed myself.
With the kids off to college, I decided it was time for me to go back to work and express myself.
Express got me in touch with some really great companies. Now I'm on my way to a great career.
Express Employment Professionals is in contact with thousands of companies in need of quality employees. Come in now and get the job you deserve.
Express yourself today.
Welcome back to the Owatonna Today Show, your community connection. And we are on location at the Steele County Courthouse today, and we are visiting with the Owatonna High School mock trial team. We're going to learn all about that. But first, we want you to meet some people that are very important to the program here. To my right is
Ann Christensen.
And Ann, what is your role with the mock trial team?
I'm the school advisor.
Okay. And then here to my left, I have
Kurt Haugen.
And what is your role, Kurt?
I'm an assistant coach. I primarily work with witnesses.
Okay. And over here, this gentleman is?
I'm attorney Scott Haugen, so I'm the attorney coach for the team.
All right. So these are three very important people here at the program. Ann, tell us exactly what does the advisor do?
Well, I help organize and I get things scheduled. I help these people that are on the team where they're supposed to be and help guide them and give suggestions, but most of the work is done by the attorney.
Better question yet is, what is mock trial for our viewers out there who may not know?
Well, mock trial is just that. It's mock trial. So it's a trial that is put on, and it's put on through the, it's the Attorney Association in the state, and they pick a case, and they put on the trial.
And are you in on the auditions as well for this?
Yes, I am.
And how does one go about auditioning for the mock trial team?
Well, they all take the case and read the case and decide kind of where they would like to be, and then Scott and Kurt and I listen to them, and then we try to place them where they'd best fit for the team.
Okay. Now, Kurt, are you in on the auditions as well?
Yeah, I am.
And what do you look for as people are auditioning?
Oh, for witnesses, we primarily look for like voice clarity, how well they can portray the character that they want it to be, how well they like sit, I guess, on the stand. And for lawyers, also voice clarity, the quality of the questions is really important, and then how much work they got done is kind of another factor that I like, because if you're efficient in how you can do it, it's going to help you in the long run.
Okay. Now, Scott, what do you look for in auditions as well?
Pretty much what Kurt just covered. I'm looking to see if they seem to fulfill their role that they want to portray. Sometimes one of the students may want to be a witness or an attorney, and they want to switch back and forth. It doesn't always work. Some people are just better at one role than the other, and in those cases I try and direct them towards the role that I think they excel at.
Okay. And what skills does a student learn once they're on the mock trial team?
They actually learn quite a number of skills. They learn how to argue, to make a rational argument rather than one that's emotional based. They're learning the law as they go through this. So they get insights into the judicial system, how the law works. The procedures that are followed in a courtroom are followed in the mock trial. They have to request permission, address the judges. They have to, conduct themselves with proper decorum and respect for the opponents. And remember that the arguments are with the judge if they're arguing an objection rather than the opposing party. Mm-hmm. So the bottom line is they're trying to, learn about how to make a good argument and follow the law and bring the law in and try and see that the correct result occurs.
Now, Anne, you had mentioned that the case comes from the state.
Yes.
Okay. So, Scott, tell us a little bit more about that. How they decide on what case and who all has the case and for how long. And
well, there's actually a mock trial subcommittee on the Minnesota State Bar. So the Minnesota State Bar sponsors all of this. The subcommittee is the one who chooses the case. There's not input, as far as I know, from people outside of the committee. And generally, they switch every other year. Well, they'll do one criminal case and then the following year civil. The last 2 years, we actually had a criminal case, and this year we have a civil case going on. And this is kind of a freedom of speech case.
Okay. Give us the case.
This is a case where Chris Jackson is the student's name. He's a plaintiff. He was a student body president at his school, ranked number 3 in his class, and he was trying to institute an open campus lunch policy. And it would only be offered to kids who are in good academic standing, no tardies, absence kind of things, satisfactory performance in school as a reward to be able to go off. And after months of trying to get through the principal to sign off on this, the principal finally rejects it, and so he organizes a protest of wearing black armbands, which there's plenty of case law supporting that. And he also kind of organized a boycott of the cafeteria. So the principal retaliated by canceling the student body dance, and in response to that, he made a video mocking the principal. The principal was not named in this video, or the school, but he was emulated with his characteristic walk and other speech patterns. And because of that, the principal was offended, and he retaliated, I guess you could say. But he suspended Chris Jackson from school for 10 days, removed him as the student body president, disallowed him from graduating with his classmates, and made him ineligible for scholarships.
Kurt, so you've heard the case, and now you have the auditions, and you're an assistant coach helping here. How do you attack this? And do you not stay emotional about the case?
Well, I mean, I don't think it's very hard to not be emotional about the case. It's just something, I thought it was something fun to do.
I'm just wondering.
Okay. I just thought it was always something fun to do. And whenever you become your character, that's the only time you should really be emotionally invested in the case. I mean, obviously, you can't help it too much when you've been doing this for 4 years, or this is your last year. But I mean, you just go at it as you would anything else, really.
Mm-hmm. So how do you help the students achieve the goals, the good marks?
Me personally?
Yeah, as an assistant coach.
So when I work with the witnesses, it's mostly on how their answers are, whether it makes sense for the question that's given, if it leads well into the next question, trying to avoid as many objectionable things as possible, keep it within your character's affidavit, because it's pretty easy to get out of it, as well as if you're getting cross-examined, how to be prepared for any situations where you have to really think on your feet.
Great. Now, Scott, let's go a little bit further here. He says you can't get emotional. I say, well, these cases are judged.
Correct.
And how are they marked?
Well, they're supposed to be marked according to the performance. Now, the performance is not supposed to constitute a student's ability to just act, but it's supposed to be a portrayal of the character, for the witnesses, and then for the attorneys, it's supposed to be, their ability to ask appropriate questions, object appropriately, argue their objections, and, when they cross-examine, have the right kind of questions, and again, object or defend, against objections during that time. There's also an opening and closing statements the attorneys have to perform. So we work on coming up with a theme that they can kind of tie their questions into, and the closing will reflect that again. The closing has to be adaptive, so the students have to listen to what was actually said during the trial, because not every statement will come out.
So when the judge comes down with the finding, his finding, it isn't always what you anticipate, is it?
No, it's not always what I anticipate. In general, I'm pretty good at guessing, but there are times that I'm off, and you know, that's just part of the real court system as well. Different judges, you know, interpret things a little differently or like different styles better, and you know, you can't please every judge that's going to be up there.
So will a judge find on behalf of the defendant and then another judge might find on the behalf of the prosecution?
Well, that is possible, and that has happened. However, they're not being graded on whether they win or lose the trial. They're being graded on their ability to carry through on the trial with, again, you know, the appropriate questions and you know, answers, objections, and all that.
But believability is part of the answer, correct?
That is correct.
So it's how well you get your witnesses to. So you can't sway a judge's opinion then?
I'd say
based on your performance?
I would say it's possible. We've occasionally won cases where they announced the verdict in our favor that we shouldn't have won in a real court of law, but.
Right. Well, okay then. I just want to talk with Ann here a little bit. You've been kind of quiet over here by us. I was just getting so into what they're doing. Ann, exactly what your job as an advisor, what do you do here with all the students?
Well, I do a lot of the groundwork as far as setting up and scheduling, but I also watch them as they portray their spots and see if there's somewhere I can help out and try to give suggestions. But it's really fun to watch them think on their feet, and which is another skill that they really pick up on, and I think is very valuable for their futures.
Now we're in the season. Next week you have a competition. Where will that be?
Well, on Saturday we're going to go to Apple Valley for a mini apple tournament, and then we start our regional playoffs. So we'll do that first in Faribault.
So explain how that works and how far up you go.
As far as the regions?
Competition, how it works with this.
Right, well, the tournament is kind of to get us ready for the regions, so we'll do that first. And then when regions come, there are, gosh, do you remember how many teams in our region? 8?
It varies, but they're generally 8 to 20.
So we have 2 teams, and so one team will go against another team and be the plaintiff, and the other team will be the defense, and then our other team will probably be the defense against another team's plaintiff. And so we'll do that one day, and then the next week we'll do it, flip-flop them against other teams. So
depending how you do, you can go all the way to the state, correct?
Yes, yes, and we've been really, really close. And before me, they've gone a couple times, but they've been to the step right before that. And sometimes it ends up with both of our teams having to go against each other, too.
Wow.
So it gets exciting.
Well, we'd love to meet some of these young people that are involved in this wonderful program. We will take a short break to hear a word from our sponsors, and then we'll be right back to meet some of the students on the mock trial team. So please stay with us.
Hi, Brad here from Owatonna Senior Place. Our goal at Senior Place is to involve, enrich, and empower adults 50 years of age or better to live as independently as possible in our communities. We do this by promoting wellness through recreational, educational, and social opportunities, as well as being a referral source for services available within our area. Activities and programming at our center emphasize creating and maintaining independence in all phases of life. Come see what Senior Place has to offer. Live full, live well, and live long.
Amy Swain Hearing Centers is a proud sponsor of the Owatonna Today Show. I'm Dr. Amy Swain, and I want everyone to hear better.
Hi, I'm Betsy Linger from the Owatonna Foundation. Your generosity has made Owatonna a better place to live by benefiting our community, the arts, recreation, and education. Please consider a donation today. The Owatonna Foundation is a proud sponsor of the Owatonna Today Show.
At Triumph Graphics, we think beyond ink. That's why you should make us your source for creative concept, design, print, mail, and web. Check us out today at triumphgraphics.com.
Owatonna Public Utilities, real people, real reliable, real progress. Making life a little easier day after day, taking pride in our community, listening to what you say. a voice you can talk to. We're growing with you in mind in everything we do. Owatonna Public Utilities.
Welcome back to the Owatonna Today Show, your community connection. We're here on location at the Steele County Courthouse visiting with the mock trial team for Owatonna High School. And we're going to meet some of the mock trial participants on the team. And the first lucky person we're going to meet over here is?
Margaret Schlicker.
Okay, Margaret. And what year in school are you?
I'm a senior.
And what role do you play on the mock trial team?
I'm a witness for the prosecution.
And what made you want to try out for mock trial?
I kind of tried out on a whim, actually. I'd had teachers tell me that I should in the past, and then Herbie and Andrew told me after school that I should come to a practice, and I did.
And now, Margaret, tell me, what have you learned from mock trial?
It offers a lot of good speaking skills because you have to convey your point eloquently, and a lot of good public speaking skills as well.
And quickly, what have you learned about yourself?
That I can speak eloquently, hopefully.
Well, that's quite all right. And we have here?
Sheldon Jenson.
And Sheldon, what year are you?
I'm a junior.
All right. And what role do you play on the mock trial team?
I am a lawyer for the plaintiff.
And what made you want to try out?
I participated in mock trial in 6th grade. We had a enrichment activity, and from then on, I've really enjoyed mock trial. So when I got to high school, I looked for the team, and I found it.
And what have you learned?
I feel like I've learned some speaking skills and how to argue and form your arguments so that they're not just emotional. They have some sort of reasoning and other elements to them.
And what have you learned about yourself?
I've learned that sometimes you got to push yourself a little more to figure out exactly where your answers and your questions come from.
Great, thank you. And we have over here?
Madison Carlson.
And Madison, what year are you?
I am a senior.
And what is your role on the mock trial team?
I am a witness for the defense.
And what made you audition for the mock trial team?
I have had previous family members decide to go into the speech section of the high school, and I decided that I wanted to be different. I decided to go into mock trial instead.
And what have you learned?
I learned how to argue. I actually win all my arguments now with my family. It's a very useful skill.
And what have you learned about yourself?
I learned that I can portray what I never thought I knew before. I can become something completely different than what I'm used to. I could be serious. I could be funny. It's very fun and experimental.
Thank you. And over here we have
Sophia Paley.
And Sophia, what made you decide to audition for the mock trial team?
Well, unlike Sheldon, I actually had a pretty bad experience with mock trial previously to coming to the high school. In 6th grade, actually, it was just a complete disaster. So I was reluctant, and my first year at the high school, I joined speech, but I just found it to be too rote for me. I mean, I came to mock trial because I was looking for some excitement, and I certainly found it.
And what is your role?
Well, I'm a lawyer, in this case for the defense, and I also give the closing speech on our defense, I guess, case, you could say.
And what have you learned by participating in this mock trial team?
Well, I guess I've learned something that you can learn from most activities, which is that you don't always feel like working or feel like presenting, but you kind of have to push through it. And it can be really exhilarating when you turn your day around that way.
And what have you learned about yourself?
That I'm a terrible procrastinator and it needs to stop.
Thank you for sharing. And we have somebody over here smiling. You identify with that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And you are?
Andrew Wall.
And Andrew, what is your role on the mock trial team?
I'm a lawyer, and I've been a lawyer for 4 years now.
Okay. And what made you want to audition for the mock trial team?
Well, starting in 9th grade, I had thought a lot about joining mock trial once I got to high school, because I'm interested in maybe pursuing the law, and I enjoy talking. But But when I had a teacher come up to me and approach me about it, I thought it was a great idea, and I just decided to jump right in.
And what have you learned since participating in mock trial?
Well, how much time do you have? But but really the biggest things is just being able to speak eloquently and express ideas. And one thing that I've gained a tremendous amount of is confidence. Coming up as a scared freshman and like having to perform in front of a real lawyer is very intimidating. And now I go up and I feel like I'm home up there in the well talking.
And so I have to ask you, you kind of shared the answer to both those questions. What do you want to be when you graduate?
Well, like I said, I'm interested in pursuing the law and maybe having a career in this when it's all said and done.
Good for you. Thanks for sharing. And who do we have over here?
I'm Herbie Rand.
Hi, Herbie. And how did you decide to audition for the mock trial team?
Back when I was a freshman, I heard that there were donuts at the informational meeting, so I sort of just showed up. Of course, I do love to argue, so that was part of it, and I really liked the idea, so I joined.
All righty. And what is your role on the team?
I'm an attorney, and I give the opening statement on the defense.
Okay. And what have you learned?
I think one of the important skills is learning to argue in real time. So if you're an attorney and you get like some questions rolling with your witness, and all of a sudden you hear objection, you have to respond in that instant, and you have to make an argument to the judge. So you have to come up with something on your feet.
And what have you learned about yourself?
I have discovered a deep, deep passion for contradicting other people and arguing. So
I'm just curious, what do you want to be? What are you going to pursue after high school?
I have no idea. But I know that I'll be arguing wherever I go with somebody.
Overall. Okay. We have over here. These are witnesses, and so we'd like to go and see part of the trial in progress and how you approach this in the competition area. So we will go do that next, okay?
Right, the witness has previously been sworn. Counsel, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Can you please state your name to the court, spelling the last?
Ricky Silver, S-I-L-V-E-R.
What is your educational background, Miss Silver?
I have a doctorate in music education from Indiana University.
Now, what's your current occupation?
I'm the music teacher at John Madison High School.
How long have you been the music teacher there?
40 years as of this past August.
Now, Dr. Silver, do you hold any other positions at John Madison High School?
Yes, I'm the current teacher sponsor for the student council there.
How long have you been the teacher sponsor?
About 20 years.
Your Honor, at this time I would now like to enter Dr. Ricky Silver as an expert in the field of education.
Is there any objection?
None, Your Honor.
So the court will recognize the witness as an expert.
May I proceed, Your Honor?
You may.
Now, have you worked with many principals during your 40 years as a teacher?
I have, especially the past 6 years. John Madison has experienced an incredibly high turnover rate of principals.
Objection, Your Honor. Relevance.
Is there a response?
Yes, Your Honor. This is going to the current principal, Dr. Maury Powers, for whose punishment the plaintiff is now bringing the case against.
And any further argument, counsel?
Yes, Your Honor. The question has to do with the turnover rate of principals at John Madison High School.
I will overrule the objection. Counsel, you may proceed.
Now, tell us a little bit more about the principals you've worked with.
Well, all I was saying is that Dr. Powers herself was new only last year.
Now, in your 40 years of experience as a teacher, what educational style do you see kids best respond to?
In my experience, students tend to follow someone who is fair and just, rather than arbitrary and capricious.
Now, do you know the plaintiff in this case, Miss Jackson?
Yes, I do.
How?
I've worked very closely with Chris, as she was elected president of the student council.
Now, what do you think of Miss Jackson?
I like Chris Jackson very much. She's an excellent student. She's very driven, succeeds in all of her classes, and she works well with the other students. She's a natural-born leader.
Now,
Are you familiar with Chris Jackson's proposed open campus lunch policy?
Yes, I am. Chris Jackson came to me with her idea for an open campus lunch policy. She had done a lot of research into other schools that had implemented the program successfully and had letters from local businesses in support of the idea.
Objection under hearsay. Is your response, counsel?
My witness is not bringing up a specific statement in order to prove the truth of the matter asserted, which is the definition of hearsay, and therefore this does not fall under hearsay.
And, any further argument, counsel?
Well, the witness is testifying as to what another witness in this trial on the same team, Chris Jackson, is told her about her open campus lunch policy and what she did for it. And so therefore I believe it is hearsay regardless of whether it's an exact statement.
I will again overrule the objection. Counsel, you may proceed.
Now, what did you think of this policy?
I thought implementing the program as a reward for students in good academic standing was a great idea. I thought it would motivate them to get their work done, be in class, and be on time.
Now, did Dr. Powers end up implementing?
Hi, my name is Dave Efforts with TPS Insurance. We're here to handle all your insurance needs. We are a very proud supporter of the Owatonna Today Show.
Welcome back to the Owatonna Today Show, your community connection. And it's that time in the program when we read what's going on in the community. The Steele County Historical Society will offer What is the Matter?, a presentation for the History in the Making series on Thursday, January 19th, 7 p.m. at the Steele County History Center. Andre Cohen of AM Horizons will lead a discussion exploring the historical rationale for making the statement Black Lives Matter. Admission to the lecture is free for Steele County Historical Society members and $5 for non-members. Winter Weekend Out is coming up January 27th through the 29th. Friday from 1 to 4:30 p.m. there'll be sledding. Saturday 10 to 2 there'll be a Fat Tire bike demo. And Saturday 2 to 5 p.m. there'll be an adult bocce ball tournament at Lake Holmeyer. And then Saturday 5 to 7 p.m. Rock on Ice at Morehouse. And then Sunday 2:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. family ice fishing at Lake Holmeyer. Alina Health will award grants to community nonprofits and local government organizations who submit ideas for bringing people together through healthy activities. The purpose of the Neighborhood Health Connection Grant is to support ongoing activities that promote social connections among the same group of adults through eating healthy and physical activity. Online applications will be accepted from January 2nd through at 5 p.m. on February 1st, and grantees will be notified of decisions via email on February 17th. Questions can be directed to Natalie Ginter at 507-977-2562 or by email to natalie.ginter@alina.com. Well, that's all we have for you today, and we hope that you will join us on Friday when we'll get an update from Owatonna Forward, and then we'll be on location at the Shattuck St. Mary's and hear from the harpist, Abigail Hansen. Meanwhile, we will have a good day, and we'll see you on Friday.